Hi gang, we're going to look at what our actual ecological footprint is. Notice the banner flying by, August 22nd, 2020. That was our overshoot day. And as you know from your research, that is actually later in the year than it has been for the last several years, which was in July. And of course, prior to that, when we started looking at this, it was in October. So we've obviously, done a little bit of up and down, and the assumption is that the COVID, I mean, you've probably seen the videos where the uh, the streets of Vienna have animals actually, streets, quote unquote, water streets, have animals floating around in them now, and it looks much clearer. You could see mountains in Nepal from India because of all the smog and all that good stuff. Okay, so to do this assignment, you need to go to the ecological footprint calculator, and we're going to go ahead and take the first step. So each of these is a very simple little scale that you're going to go from one end to the other. But I want you to take this step and do it for more detail. So how often do you eat animal-based products? Never very often. And of course, don't forget those dairy products and those eggs. And so for me, it's very occasionally because of the meat and eggs. But I want you to click on each one of these that say add the details. And for each one of these, you can do the decision for yourself. Right? Poultry, I do that a lot more often. And see right here, it says nearly every day. I don't really do it every day. So a couple times a week, once or twice a week. Fish or shellfish, once every few weeks, and eggs and cheese, probably every few weeks. And hit save. Okay, so we're going to go through and do this. And again, each time that you have a detail to improve your accuracy, please go through and do that. All right, I'm going to go ahead and jump through and pretend like I have done all these. Again, housing, your electricity, and anytime you see improve your accuracy, please fill out these individual items. It will make a difference in your score. If you don't have a motorcycle, so you're going to drag that to zeros. If you have a car, how much? And one of the things I'd like for you to do is to do this once with your doing it prior to the COVID and doing it after the COVID to see if that's a big difference. The average fuel consumption, don't forget to change your motorcycle down. Cars by traveling, again, add the details. So always look for this add details to improve your accuracy. Of course, I've had a major difference in travel by airfare, and it's very interesting to see the difference before COVID and after COVID. And so when I'm done, I'm going to get this result part 1. There's a result part 2 that kind of breaks it down by land type. And, how do you feel? Oh my gosh, and all of that. Exploring your data takes you to different locations. But I want to go back here to result part 1 and see it says see your details. Okay, so that's the result part 2 that they give you, again, based on your details. So result part 2, how do you feel? Make a little comment there. And solution to move the date or some ideas that you can explore. All of this part is for you to explore. What you need to show me is this picture right here and this picture right here, the before and the after. And it breaks it down by consumption. So you can actually look at this and move your number over to get specific details. Then what I'd like for you to do is, I know it might take a little bit of time for you, is to retake the quiz. So hopefully you'll, won't take you too terribly long. Retake it. And uh-oh, site is under maintenance. We'll be back soon. Click on the island to return. And take the first step. There you go. So give it a second, it'll come back. Okay, so one of the things that I did when I was taking it over again is after I had gone through and of course taken the time to fill in all these details, what I did is when I got to the end and of course continued, I definitely, I overshot it before the rest of the world did. Don't worry about this donation thing. But what I did is I went all the way back to the very beginning and started from that way. But all of my details remain. So you can just check that to say, oh yeah, look, see, all my infrequently, how I did it was still there. And then what you can do, and it's usually the transportation things that have changed, your housing and all that won't. but how we've been home more and not driving around as much. Has that changed the amount of food that you've eaten? Have you eaten differently? So there will be some subtle changes, especially when it comes to the airline, and you'll be quite surprised. So there'll be 4 sets of pictures. The result, part 1 and part 2, that's your details for before COVID, and then the 1 and 2 for after COVID. Okay, how do you feel? If you're not signing into this, you know, you can certainly say, oh, shocked, inspired, helpless, all those good things. All right, and so how do I know that it's me, right? So one of the things that you can do, since you're not signing into this, if they ask you to sign in, feel free to use your school email. You can't really tell my email address over here, so one of the things you can do is over here, you can hover over your Google Chrome browser. You can click on it and it'll open up an account that shows it's you. You could actually go into a new tab. Let me move this up. You can go into new tab and let's say your Atlas account, your Atlas email, and Atlas login, and you can go to your webmail. And when you go to your webmail, your Outlook should open and your name would appear right there. So now when I see my name right here, when I take my screenshot, and I can even highlight it even more by moving my mouse, but when I do my screenshot, which of course would be window, print screen, and a little tab, saved to my screenshot folder, beautiful. I get all the work that Dr. Christian needs for my submission. All right, have fun with this.